Okay, imagine this. Someone lands in Hollywood chasing those big dreams. They get a little taste of success, thinking maybe it's easy. And then, bam, an unexpected turn throws everything into chaos, absolute desperation. What follows is this incredible story of massive success, like unprecedented success in the field most people don't talk about. But underneath it all, a really profound hidden human cost. We're talking about the person behind the headlines, the man behind a truly legendary public image. So our mission in this deep dive is to really explore the journey of, well, one of the most prolific and decorated male adult film stars ever. And we've got a pretty unique mix of sources to work with today. We have his own words, a powerful first-person account. We also have detailed biographical info, career stats, and even a really fascinating personality analysis.
Exactly. And our goal here is to try and understand the path that led him into this specific career, and also the deep personal impact, often devastating impact it had on him over the years. And ultimately, what his story tells us about that line, between the public face and the private reality, we're going to pull out those key insights for you from all this material.
Right. Let's get into it. The story kicks off in the early 1980s. Our subject arrives in California, full of acting hopes. And he actually did find some early work, got a part in a movie even, which he said kind of made him think, hey, what's the big deal? This isn't so hard. Seems to be a good start, right? But then came that pivot. The infamous writer's strike hit Hollywood, big shutdown. According to him, just nobody was working, and he meant nobody.
Yeah, actors, producers, directors.
Even florists, caterers, the whole machine just ground to a halt.
And that's where the real desperation started to bite. He talks about this awful time when he literally had just a can of beans and 1 can of potatoes in my cupboard. He was actually hungry. So he tried modeling to make ends meet, just anything.
Right. And through that, a makeup artist hands him a card for nude work, for money.
And he resisted at first. He said it would ruin my career, his acting career.
But after about a month of, starving, the hunger just took over. He made the call.
Yeah.
That first adult film, it earned him 4 crisp, brand new $100 bills.
$400.
Yeah.
Which was decent money for a day's work back then.
Huge. But he immediately had these two thoughts clashing in his head. First, wow, how easy that was. But then right away, what have I done? Someday, someone is going to find out. Little did he know, someday, it wasn't just someone finding out, it was this massive career taking off.
Yeah.
He went from pure desperation to this incredibly rapid climb in the adult film world.
Yeah, he became, in his own words, the most popular, most decorated male adult film star of all time.
The phone, he said, never stopped ringing.
And the money just kept getting bigger and bigger. And we should probably say who we're talking about now.
Right.
This is Roberto Malone, born October 31st, 1956, in Turin, Italy. He's widely seen as a legendary figure in the industry. Started actually back in the mid-'70s and was just incredibly prolific. We're talking over 2 decades. Sources say over 375 films. One source even claims over 700, though that's harder to verify.
Wow.
And he built this reputation, the rugged, macho look, these captivating performances.
And that word decorated, he wasn't kidding. The awards list is long. Multiple NEMFA awards, kind of like the Oscars for that industry. Best Actor in 03, 05. Best Supporting Actor 04, 07. A European X Award for Best Actor in Italy, 2004.
And then the big one.
Yeah, the NINFA Special Jury Lifetime Achievement Award in 2008. A huge recognition.
Absolutely. And it makes you wonder, how do you sustain that? He wasn't just acting. He also directed, sometimes worked as a production manager. Used different names too. Bob Holmes, Roberto Mel, Peppino. And he even dipped his toe into mainstream film. A small role in Catherine Bryant's film Romance in 1999. And apparently his portrayal of Al Capone in one film was well regarded. And people might remember the buzz around his porn parody of DSK.
Oh, right. Dominique Strauss-Kahn. Yeah, that got some attention. So, okay. Immense success, recognition in his world. But let's shift gears now, because there was this profound personal cost. He talks very openly about how it hit his family, his mother especially. She was completely taken by storm. It shocked her, hurt her. You can feel the weight of that.
Oh, definitely. And the internal struggles he describes, they run really deep. He talks about losing the ability to feel love, how he started seeing women like objects, experiencing no emotion involved in the act of making love. It's brutal.
Yeah.
He says, what was that making love? I had sex for money. I was a prostitute. That's a direct quote. He felt he couldn't feel anymore.
That's incredibly stark.
It really shows this profound dehumanization, affecting his core sense of self.
And he describes this period with such a vivid, awful metaphor. This merry-go-round cycle he was trapped in. Going to work, doing porn,
Right.
to get money to buy drugs,
To bury the pain.
and just around and around, this destructive loop.
It's that self-medication trap, isn't
Yeah.
it? Where the thing you do to cope actually digs you deeper.
Yeah.
And counting it back, he's very clear. Pornography changed how I thought and felt about women, full stop. He admits he lost the ability to have a loving and caring relationship, even though he says at the time he thought I was still able. But looking back, he realized he was fooled.
That denial is powerful, isn't it? Until you can't deny it anymore.
It really highlights the long-term psychological impact, that deep emotional detachment the work required.
So the breaking point. It
Yeah.
came one day, just like that.
Yeah.
He finished work, left the set, drove maybe 2 blocks, pulled the car over, turned it off, and just started to cry.
Yeah.
He felt this overwhelming need. He wanted out so bad, or to get off that merry-go-round. Just desperation again, but a different kind.
And that moment led to real action, decisive action. He says, quite plainly, that's the last movie I ever made, and I never went back.
Just stopped.
Just stopped. He says he changed my life. Or maybe more accurately, he began my life, like started over.
And he offers this really powerful message, doesn't he? For anyone facing their own stuff. If I can change my heart, anybody can. There's a lot of hope in that. Okay, so now let's really dig into this fascinating contrast that the sources reveal. The public persona versus the private man.
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting. We have this personality analysis. Based on his performance persona, how he came across on screen, in public, he's typed using the Myers-Briggs system as an ESTP.
Okay, ESTP, what does that mean?
Extroverted, sensing, thinking, perceiving, think. Outgoing, confident, adventurous, likes action. Known for uninhibited energy and enthusiasm, adapting quickly, being spontaneous. You know, that sounds a lot like the image of a successful adult star, right?
Totally fits the rugged, macho image, the high output.
But then you look at his Enneagram type, which is a different system looking more at core motivations, fears. He's typed as a 6W5, a 6 with a 5 wing.
What's that like? Sounds different already.
Very different. 6s with a 5 wing are often described as more introverted, self-controlled, and intellectual. They can be the smarty pants type, analytical, but they also really value privacy. They love privacy.
Yeah.
And sometimes, because of that, they can come off as being aloof.
Wow. So ESTP performer, 6W5 inner world. That's quite a contrast.
It really is.
And it gives you this huge insight, doesn't it? Into the kind of cognitive dissonance, maybe. The sheer effort it must take.
Exactly. The emotional labor involved in projecting that high-energy, outgoing persona when maybe your deeper self is much more private, more intellectual.
It shows how people can compartmentalize, especially when, survival or huge success is on the line. And as we're trying to understand the whole person, the complexities here, there's another difficult event later in his life we should probably mention.
Yeah, it adds another layer. In 2005, Roberto Malone was arrested. The charges were blackmail and extortion. It led to a 4-year prison sentence.
The sources don't really give us the details of the case.
No, they don't. But it's a stark piece of his story. It suggests maybe that line between the persona and the pressures of his life sometimes blurred into some really difficult real-world consequences.
So what a journey we've taken you on today. Through this really extraordinary, really complex life, from that desperate choice born of hunger to huge celebrated stardom in a very unconventional world, and then that deep personal reckoning, the crash, and ultimately transformation.
Yeah, I think this deep dive really shows us a few things. How extreme situations can push people down truly unexpected paths, the often hidden human costs that can lie behind certain kinds of success, but also, that powerful capacity we have for change, for self-discovery, even after hitting rock bottom.
And the layers of identity, too.
Absolutely. How that public image can be so different from the private reality of an individual.
So here's something to think about as you go about your day. When you see public figures, or maybe even people closer to you, how much of what you're seeing is maybe a carefully built performance persona? What are the implications of that different for them and for how you understand the world around you? What really lies beneath the surface?